Suspense, drama, and intrigue, huh? Hey, Cyborg, good to see you. Brad the Mad, good to see you. MTBK, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the channel once again. JJ on JJ's PC Builds live. Right here on YouTube. First time here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification. Did I do that wrong again? Yeah, I did. I forgot to do it like this. First time here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. There. Now I got it right. I put it on there to do it, and I keep forgetting for some reason. But anyway, it's been a long day. It's been a long night since last night. I'm going to let everybody climb in here. I got a few more people that are going to be climbing in, want to be getting into the discussion. Guys, we have a hot one tonight. And I'm talking about a hot one. I'm not talking about, you know, some girlies and stuff like that. No, I know you guys are thinking of waifu girlies. You know, I know you're thinking about that. But don't forget your drink and snacks, like Cyborg said in the chat. You're going to need it. You're going to need something to cool you off from this hot one coming up. So, I'm not going to get started just yet because I'm still letting you guys climb in because I see there's we got 4 good people in here so far. Let's try for 5 and 6 and 7. Let's see if we can get up to 100 people in here tonight. Got a long discussion. And a discussion that nobody's really talking about. Okay, we're going to talk about Windows 11, 24H2, and the problems we're having there with KB5063878 and KB5062660. Okay, now I'm going to tell you something. I see a lot of reviewers doing this, and please stop doing this. Because there's a little bit of an issue, and I'm not talking about a tissue. There's a little bit of an issue with their reporting on what they're talking about. Okay, the thing is this. Okay, I'm gonna get all set so you guys can get all set too. I got a lot of things cooking in this background here. Let's see. Okay, we're just going to jump into it. Hopefully everybody's here, and I welcome everybody to the channel that is new. We're going to welcome you as well. So, I'm going to jump into the action screen. And guys, I don't have the big cursor tonight, so do bear in mind that. So, we're going to jump into it. Okay, listen. I've said this 1,000 times. I said this 1,000 times. Let's see. KB5063878 is still here on my Windows. Still in my computer. I cannot get rid of this whatsoever. I've tried. I went all the way down to the bottom where it says uninstall updates. And this is what I come up with. There is no KB5063878 or KB5062660. They're already uninstalled. But, here's the but to this. They are still here in my system. They have not gone. So, this is just to give you an outline of what's going on and the problem I'm having with Windows Task Manager. Windows Task Manager. Okay, guys, you know me, I keep my computer tip-top shape. Tip-top shape. But when Windows puts in an update and nobody knows what's going on. Here's the problem, and I'm going to explain it to you. Here's the problem. I didn't know myself that this had a problem when I updated. There was nothing out about it. So from now on, I'm going to take and I'm going to put every update except for the Windows Defender. I'm going to go into Windows Defender directly and install the updates for Windows Defender. But when it comes to Windows updates, I'm going to put it on hold for a couple weeks until I can see any reports on something good or bad from now on. Because Microsoft is not owning up to this problem. It's an SSD problem with certain SSDs because of the Phison controller. That's one. And I'm lucky that my computer was not affected on the SSD with the Phison controller because it's already been tested and it seems to deem safe. With my operating system, which I know now it's not an operating system issue. Well, it is an operating system issue, but before the update, it was not an operating system issue because my computer was running tip-top shape. So, let's see what Cyborg has to say. Have you got a restore point to go back? I do, but it seems that Windows did a little bit more homework on everybody, and my restore point was erased after 30 days. I have no restore points on the computer now because of Windows. Because they didn't store the restore points. So no, I do not have a restore point. I did it one time from when I first built the PC, but I've saved 6 different restore points. Microsoft decided to put in a little thing after 30 days, it totally, poof, it's gone. This is one of the problems, the reason why I hate the restore point in Windows, is because Microsoft doesn't give you a time check on it to where you can choose how long you want to keep your restore points. Back years ago, it used to be infinite. It used to be there, infinite. You want to take and restore it, that's up to you. Now they're asking me if I want to do a backup on my PC. Okay, well, let's see. If I do a backup on my PC, I might as well think about I'm going to take about 50 to 60 gigabytes or maybe 70 or 80 gigabytes of hard SSD space to back up my PC. Totally ignorant to Microsoft. Totally ignorant. When they could have infinitely held the restore points, but they didn't. Not a bad idea. Most IT departments like to let the updates sit for a week or two for situations like this one. Yeah, Brad, you're right. I know I should have waited. I should have put them on hold. And from now on, what I'm doing is this. September 5th supposedly is going to be the next update. So I got my computer on pause for the Windows updates until the 7th. Now, if I don't hear anything by the 7th, I'm going to give it an additional 7 more days before I decide to move forward, because I want to see if there is a problem. I went on to Microsoft. I did a video earlier today, guys. Hopefully you watched it. I went into Microsoft's catalog update information kind of thing. From what I found, is basically absolutely nothing talking about the SSD problem, nothing talking about the task manager problem, nothing talking about, like you guys said, the restore point problem. You know, there's nothing being talked about all these little problems. And there's nothing being talked about, okay, nothing being talked about why they attached to the critical updates. See, this is the thing. They put up to your regular updates, your critical updates, and the next operating system update all into one update. They put all three into one. So if you go to take out the KB5063878, you're only taking out the critical update. That's it. Everything else remains. They ingrained and intertwined the update to your operating system. So in order for me to fix this problem, I have to take and trash my whole operating system, reinstall it, get my product key put back in, put everything that I've done on my PC back in, which is going to take me days. Do you think Microsoft's going to pay for that? They're not going to pay me for that. I keep my computer in tip-top shape. And when they make stupid moves like this, what are you going to do? I'm putting myself now in the consumer's shoes, and what are they going to do next? Guys, look, I put on the video earlier today, I told you guys this is what's cooking. Okay, your graphics card usage. Your graphics card usage is totally upside down. Where on Task Manager, it's showing you between 0 and 3%, to where if you're running on a benchmark and you see the benchmark that's in there, it shows you your graphics card's running at 100%. This is a problem. Because if you're thinking that your graphics card's only running at 3%, and you get your CPU running at 100%, which it's the total opposite. That's the thing. That is the total opposite. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. I'm going to show you what we found on Cyberpunk with them using Task Manager for the CPU benchmarking and the GPU benchmarking. So it's not directly off of the game. It's directly off of your operating system in the Task Manager. So to get the great results, you're getting it from your PC. You're not getting it from the Steam servers. I thought it was coming from the Steam servers, but obviously not. It obviously is coming from Task Manager and all the benchmarking tools. So basically all they did was they adapted their, their benchmarking tools for Steam to your Task Manager. So I'm sitting there using like HW Info, I'm using GPU-Z, I'm using CPU-Z. I even tried, Intel Present Monitor. That new one that just came out. Finding out that Intel Present Monitor is not even working right now because of Task Manager. So I might end up having to update I might have to reinstall Intel Present damn, I hate that name. Intel Present Mon back into my PC. I can't trust that one. But what I can trust is from what I've seen on GPU Z, and I'm using NVIDIA's overlay. I'm using NVIDIA's overlay too. And the NVIDIA overlay is kind of matching to, and it's sure not matching to Task Manager. Because right now, all I see is the Task Manager having 14% on the CPU, which the NVIDIA overlay is only showing 8%. The GPU is showing 6% on NVIDIA overlay, compared to it's showing 40%. 40% on Task Manager. Nuts. And also, too, I turned back on MSI Afterburner. Because last night I was doing the testing without MSI Afterburner. Okay. That was another big mistake. Because MSI Afterburner controls the fans of my GPU. I can't trust Windows to control my fans for my GPU. I can't trust Windows to control the fans for my PC case, which you guys know are done by this. This controls the fans. See? F plus and F minus, that's fan plus and flat fan minus. I can't, trust the motherboard. Well, I can trust the motherboard, but I can't trust the operating system to control my fan curves. So I control it by remote control. It's just nuts. And now, on top of all this issues, they done compiled all that issue into one thing. So you guys tell me what you think. Tell me I'm crazy about this or not, which I'm not. Which we're going to dive into, and believe it or not, we are going to dive into. I got Steam up already, okay? I got Steam up already. So we're going to dive into Cyberpunk. And yes, and everybody's going to say, well, Jay, you went from the NVIDIA drivers 281.08 to 281.15. Could that be the cause? No. That's not the cause whatsoever. That is not the cause whatsoever. So, what am I left with? I'm left with an operating system issue that has to be resolved. But obviously, Microsoft does not want to tell everybody about this problem. They want to keep it under wraps because they're trying to get everybody from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And if problems like this keeps popping up, guys, they're not going to be able to get everybody onto Windows 11, and then they're going to be stuck for a whole year with people still on Windows 10 because they can't trust Windows 11. And you know what? I'm starting to believe that Windows 10 would be a lot better than Windows 11. Truthfully. But guess what? Some people, some reviewers are saying, well, Microsoft's sabotaging Windows 10. I don't know what they're trying to push for, but, this is what I think they're trying to push for. It's not what's out there on the internet. It's what I think they're pushing for. Since they make money, and I want you guys to hear me out. Since they make money on cloud base, they make more money on cloud base than they do issuing operating system product keys. So they make more money on cloud computing than they do issuing you a product key. So what my thought is if they go up to the next operating system, now 25H2, which that's going to be coming out soon, I'm thinking they're already working towards, since they put out a PC that's cloud-based only, like they're trying to do like the Chromebook. I hope not, because when you start up the PC, if you don't have an internet connection, your PC doesn't work without an internet connection. It has to be able to connect to the cloud in order to work. So if they're going to decide to do that with all operating systems, think I'm crazy. You guys think I'm crazy. I am not crazy about this. I've been hearing rumors, a lot of rumors about this. And in the background, that's not on the boob, I've been hearing it from friends as well. And I know who they're tied to, so I can't say who. But I can tell you I heard it through the grapevine again. Guys, this is looking like that Microsoft is trying to weasel their way away from doing product keys, doing operating systems and everything, and just move everything to the cloud where they're making most of their money, and kind of dump the regular operating systems. And a lot of people are going to be pissed when this happens. But what if they do it? I'm going to put my 50-50 chance that they're going to do this on the table. I'm going to say on the table. I'm going to tell you the truth on the table, and it's on the table. Okay, and they didn't even tell anybody. You know, nobody even talked about the problem with OBS. You guys remember when I tried to do live streams a while back? I was having problems with the live streams. It was because of Microsoft. It was because of them. I couldn't hook the camera up right, and I was freaking out, and I couldn't figure it out. But I figured it out. So I was able to fix my camera. I was able to fix my internet, and that's the reason why I'm able to live stream tonight with no problems, is because I fixed the problem that Microsoft couldn't fix, that they said they might have fixed. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Give me your input. I need to hear what you guys are thinking on this, where what your information tail is going on. Say what's on your mind, because this is going to be hotter than hell tonight. And who's on the chopping block? Let's see. Microsoft's on the chopping block tonight. And I could already tell you about Windows, or not Windows. I could already tell you about NVIDIA's driver update 281.15. There's nothing wrong with it. Not a damn thing wrong with it. If you're having problems with it with the 50 series, then that's the problem with the 50 series. But on the 40 series, I'm not having any issues. The only issue I'm having is with Microsoft. And their one update that they tried to put in, well, they did put in our PCs, and they said, go ahead, click on it, you know. I have never, ever had a problem with Microsoft updates until yesterday. No, not yesterday, the day before. But I am trying to resolve it. Now, here's a word of caution to you. You might uninstall the update. Yeah, that's only going to uninstall the critical update. The remnants of the rest of it is going to remain in your PC. Take word of caution. Word of caution. People, you know, I even heard, I was watching, and guys, I watch other content creators too. I'm not going to lie to you. I watch other content creators too. Okay. I was watching Jay's 2 Cents do a video today. He was talking about when he was doing benchmarking, PC just crashed on him. It's because of the SSD he had with the Phison controller was a newer controller. A newer controller, and it crapped out on him. a newer controller on that SSD. I'm lucky when I got my SSDs, they were older than the ones that they're talking about the controller being all disrupted. So the controllers on mine should be fine. But it seems like there's a major problem. Because what it's doing is when it crashes is because it's rewriting the drive. It's taken the GPT master boot record and rewriting it into RAW. And when it rewrites it into RAW, you lose everything on your information. Everything. When it writes it back into RAW, you lose everything. That means the drive was totally zeroed out into RAW format. That's the problem right now with the new update 3878. You really don't want to be stuck in that boat. Here's a couple preventative things you can do. Make sure you don't fill up your SSD to 80%. Keep it below 50% or less. It could help. Not saying it will, not saying it won't. It could help. Minimize the amount of gigabytes that you're using per day. If you're using more than 50 gigabytes per day and you're stressing out your controller, what's going to happen is Windows is recording your it looks like it's looking at your CPU and it's over reporting your CPU. So it's causing some kind of backflash. Here's a problem. Here's a big problem. I was sitting there last night with Mr. Machine, which I know is coming home from work, which he's probably here now because I know he's here now. But we'll see what happens. He's here, but he's driving home right now, I'd imagine. So we'll catch him on voice in a moment. And let's see what was posted to me. Okay, we got you there, Mr. Machine. We'll just take and join the voice. Give me a moment, guys. Well, Mr. Machine, hold on. Let me get you in here.
Uh-oh. You have a live show or something?
Yeah, I'm doing a live show right now, my brother.
Shit, I need to get on there.
Yeah, I was waiting on you, man.
Oh. You don't have to wait on me.
Well, you didn't even read the chat. I put 8 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, I just got off work, so.
I know you did, so that's the reason why I said 8 p.m. tonight. So,
okay.
I had it all set up for you. You know, I was just waiting for you to jump back on, so.
Yep.
How long till you get home?
15 minutes.
15 minutes? Are you on the live stream?
No. Can be. What's that?
Well, you can listen in until you get home, you know.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Well, we'll catch you on the live stream and then we'll talk there.
Okay, no problem.
All right, man. Hurry up home.
All right.
Bye.
I will.
Okay, we caught Mr. Machine. Sorry, guys. Little bit of personnel kind of thing, but I figured he was coming home anyway because, you know, he put invoice and he said, hey, Jay, you know, you want to come on the voice chat? You know, he probably didn't look, but he knew, you know, he didn't know I was doing live stream, so that's how that went. But anyway, I'm going to wait a couple minutes, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the NVIDIA 581.15 and what I found. Here's what I found with that. Okay. I didn't find any problem with the driver sequencing itself. I didn't get any blue or black screens or anything else, which remind you guys that when it comes to that, I have a feeling that was Windows, Microsoft Windows. I have a feeling all these problems that have been happening is not been with NVIDIA drivers, because they are Microsoft certified. And if there's a problem, Microsoft would have caught it with their operating system. This is another issue. Maybe Windows operating system is not supporting the 50 series so well. Maybe not. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we're having so many problems and people are talking about so many problems with the 50 series. You guys can leave your comments. If you're just popping in and out, stay for the full length of the live stream so that way you can see what's going on. I'm not going to be around the bush, guys. I'm just going to lay it out like it is. And I'm not here to worry about whose feelings or whatever else. These companies, if they're doing wrong, I'm going to use their material that they're posting out and telling everybody, hey, this works. I am a reviewer. I test these products daily. And if I find a problem, I'm going to tell my subscribers, my viewers, the ones that don't want to subscribe, which I really wish you would subscribe to my channel, because 70% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel out. Damn, now I'm sounding like the other reviewers. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to build the channel. So, but anyway, getting back to the driver sequencing. Okay, now, if NVIDIA's drivers are not sequenced with Windows operating system, especially with the display drivers, it wouldn't work. So, in order for it to do the handshake between the two, they have to certify the drivers. Microsoft has to certify them. They have to test them before they certify them. And that's the reason why we go month by month. Sometimes NVIDIA pushes them out a little too early and, kind of tries to shove it out there too fast and turns around, then we have problems. We know this. We knew the 50 series drivers were going to be a problem in the first place, because of the simple fact everybody using 600 series motherboards on AM5, and you guys can be pissed at me if you want about this, I'm just going to tell you like it is. Okay, especially you guys trying to use a 9000 series CPU on a 600 series motherboard, which was never designed for it in the first place. Yes, they can do an Agiza update, but that still does not change the factor of the physical side of the motherboard. It doesn't change how the software does not change the physical side of the motherboard. Okay, the only motherboards right now that are really compatible is the 800 series. It's because they were built and designed for the 9000 series. Not the 600 series. The 800 series. You notice that they didn't do a 700 series. Oh yeah, that's right, because Intel did the 700 series. Makes no sense why AMD didn't have them build the 700 series. Now we're going to be stuck with, and there's some rumors, and I'm not getting off subject or anything. I'm just telling you what I'm finding out in information, because this is the end of the week. And this is all the information that balled up through the week that we are talking about now. So, looking at the facts, we know that there's we know about, rumors that are happening on the NVIDIA Super Series, which people are saying, oh, it's going to come out in November, December. Oh, it's going to come out in January. We don't know. So I'm not going to speculate on what those are going to be, but the 50 series is a bust to me. I'm waiting for the 60 series. Said and put. I'm just waiting for NVIDIA 60 series. I'm not going to speculate on the 50 series anymore. There's no sense. We already know there's problems with the 50 series that's not even been handled yet. The missing ROPS is still missing ROPS. The PhysX 32-bit is discontinued. And now they threw RTX hair on top of that. And now you got a bigger mess in the 50 series. So the 50 series is like wrapped in one big ball, left in its corner. I'm not going to touch it. Just going to tell you guys that, because it's a mess. I stayed with the 40 series for a reason. We might be getting a little droplets of updates on the software and stuff like that, but that's fine. I don't need RTX hair. I don't need multi-frame generation, because I got frame generation as it is. It's just as good. I don't need anything else other than that. If I'm going to use it, I can if I want to. I don't have to if I don't need to. Okay? So, said and put. 40 series is still solid. Compared to the 50 series, yeah, you're trying to shove more output. You're trying to shove more output out of something that's not going to handle it. Something that's not going to handle it. So, what are you left with? Well, you're left with what? The Rubin Vera. Why are they saying Rubin Vera? Well, it's going to be a chiplet design with the NVLink on the same GPU die. They're going to shrink it. That big board, they're going to shrink down to the size of a GPU die. That's the rumor I heard. So, hello there, ABC. Good to see you. But bro, 4X frame gen, you need it, NVIDIA. No, you don't need it, really. Truthfully, when I game, I don't need it. I can game without it. It's eye candy, okay? That's all it is to me, is eye candy, okay? The 50 series has it, but the 40 series doesn't. I got the 40 series. I don't got the 50 series. There's a reason why I didn't buy the 50 series. It's because the factor of, what am I buying the 50 series for that I'm getting on the 40 series? No sense of me taking and upgrading my 4070 to a 5070 if I don't need to. I mean, if you go on Tech Power Up, you'll see the 4070 neck and neck with what? The 6950 XT. Me and Mr. Machine were looking at that last night. It's running neck and neck. It's not that far off in the brackets. So why am I going to give up a 4070 that's rocking just as hard as the rest of them? What, to get a 50 series because it says 50? It says 50 series on it. So what? I mean, I'd rather rock with something that's I've been testing for almost close to 3 years. 3 years almost. I've been rocking with this same GPU. So why am I going to give it up now? I don't need to. So let's get to the facts. So you say, remember when NVIDIA were making the big push on frames, win games, and they were pointing out the blurriness of gaming at 60 FPS. Now we have fake frames and BS. Okay, well, there's parts of the software that's in with NVIDIA that you can use to take out the blurriness without running frame generation. Remember, they just gave us smooth motion on 40 series. So we have 9/10 of all the 50 series software already on the 40 series. And if you don't know how to balance it out to make it look good and play good and everything else, then, you know, there's a little bit of a problem right there. So the 40 series guys should know how to make their system rock. So it's why I've wanted full AMD 5800X with the RX 9070. Well, you know, that's you, my friend. That is you. Look, I have nothing against AMD. I bought a 7800 XT from AMD. Okay, my friend's rocking on that. So they're testing that out and telling me how that's going, because the way they play games is different from the way I play mine. So their input helps me out understand the 7800 XT at that point in time. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. The 9070 would rock out at $600. I mean, I can understand. You put $600 into your graphics card. You run on an AM4 motherboard. You run with the 5800X, which is a bad idea anyway. 5700X is better because it's scalable. Compared to the 5800X is not so scalable, but the 5700X is what I use in my PC, AM4, with 64 gigs of RAM, and it's scalable. So I don't have a problem with that. You know, why would I get the 5800X when the 5700X is cheaper, but still scalable right up to the 5800X and beyond? So it doesn't make sense for me to buy a more expensive CPU when I got one right here that rocks. I made a great choice when I got the 5700X. Nobody talks about the 5700X. They're like, oh, because this reviewer over here was rocking with the 5800X. Well, I hate to tell you this. With the 5700X, I can scale it up to the same max output of a 5800X. It's still got the same amount of L cache. So does it really make a difference if you spend less to get more, or if you spend more to get less? What makes more sense to you? Think about it. Really, seriously, think about it. I thought about it when I first got my parts for my system. I thought everything through. So yeah, I run an AM4 motherboard. It's a Strix B550-A motherboard. Back then it was high end on the AM4. That's the trick. You get products from last generation that are high end, because the prices are going to be a little bit cheaper than buying the next generation at high end, because you're going to be paying double at high end for the next generation, but you can still rock with the previous generation on their high end products. That's the trick. Don't buy the low-end products of the AM4 series. Buy the high-end products of the AM4 series, which they're at low prices compared to, you know, buying garbage from the low end. So if you want to buy entry level motherboards on the low end, you're going to be paying for the prime motherboards, the motherboards that are just like unclockable and everything else. Total garbage. Go for the high end on the last generation. You'll see a difference, especially when you're trying to overclock your CPU. This Strix motherboard has not let me down yet. Now, I turned around and got an Asus Prime motherboard. That already took a shit. That's entry level. This is high end. B550 to the high end. I'm not talking about the 570s. I'm not talking about the X570s. I'm talking about just the high end of the B550. That's what I went for because I really didn't need an X series motherboard. I haven't looked at what you guys put in the chat yet, but I'm telling you, I haven't looked at the X series motherboards because that's pushing it too much, which there's stuff in there that you really don't use anyway. That's why I stuck with the B550, the B series motherboards. They're just as good. So, in the UK, ABC says, in the UK, we have a chain of stores that sell and trade in electronics. CEX, and I got my 5800X for 130 versus 120 for the 5700X. Okay. Well, the thing is this. Over here, we're looking at the last time I looked was a $60 difference. $60 difference between the 5700X and the 5800X. When I purchased mine, it was at $129 US dollars, which that's going to be a lot cheaper than UK dollars. Way cheaper. You guys, I don't know the mathematics on it right now because I'm not really going to look at the mathematics, but you can do the mathematics on it. So, and when I was looking at the 5800X, it was well over, what was it, 240 or something like that at the time. So the 5700X was way cheaper than the 5800X, but I was able to scale mine up to the same max output of the 5800X, which scalable, you're only getting on the 5800X, you're not going to get much more than what you're getting from it. And everybody can tell you that the 5700X is a better deal compared to the 5800X. But if you got it and you bought it and it's rocking for you, then stick with it. But I'm just telling you from my experience, I like my 5700X. Even though I should be on AM5 like everybody said, you should be on AM5. Look, I'll get there. I'm just not impressed right now with the AM5. Everybody can say, oh, the 9800X 3D is the best chip in the world, man. I game like a beast. Okay. Wait until they come out with next generation AM6 or AM7. I'm waiting for the AM7. I'm not waiting for AM6 because it's going to be a refresh of AM5. So, and it's going to be on the same motherboard with AM6. Same motherboard, AM5 and AM6, same crap. I'm waiting for AM7. New motherboard, new CPU, new design, new all the way. I'm going to wait for that one. Machine says, did you tell them about what happened last night? Yes, I did there, Mr. Machine. I wasn't ignoring you, my friend. I definitely told them about it. And that's where we're getting to right now. But I was talking about the odds and ends that are, on the side that I wanted to get out of the way. So, since I got Steam opened up, which I did, I got Steam opened up. So, I'm going to read this comment here, and then we're going to go to Steam, and we're going to talk about it. AM5 is only going to give you maybe 30% uplift in performance. Truthfully, it's not giving me crap. And I'm going to tell you why it's not going to give me 30%. Because if I'm only upgrading because of the CPU, it's not giving me absolutely nothing. You think the imaginary performance monster is there giving you more performance, but in truth and reality, if you don't know how to set up your CPU with your motherboard to match with your GPU, your system RAM, and if you don't match the right system RAM with your motherboard, your CPU can't work right. So basically, it makes you think that if you're running low-end system RAM, and you're not running the system RAM up to the max of the motherboard, then you're not seeing all the performance of the CPU. That's what everybody misses. That's the point I tried to make to everybody. My next step, instead of going to AM5, is to take my system RAM out, all 64 gigs of it, and move my system RAM from 3200 megahertz, which I got it clocked to 3400 megahertz. Now I'm going to take it to 4000 megahertz and try to get the lowest cast latency possible. And I'm going to try to overclock the system RAM from 4000 megahertz and try to push it up to 4200 megahertz. The max on this motherboard is 4400 megahertz. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I seen something. When I overclocked my 3200 megahertz system RAM, I seen something in this motherboard. I seen something in the speed of how the pages are opening and closing. I've seen a lot of things that I shouldn't have seen, but I was right again. By overclocking the system RAM to its max on the motherboard, I'm going to gain that extra performance that I need to make everything run tip-top shape. Believe it or not, I can make this 5700 run just as good as Mr. Machine's 7700X if I push it right. So, look at it this way. I can save extra money even if I spend $200 by upping the system RAM. I can get another three or 4 years out of my system without upgrading anything other than just the system RAM. I don't need to upgrade the CPU. I don't need to upgrade the SSDs. I don't need to upgrade anything. Not even the GPU I got right now, I don't need to upgrade. It's the wool that's been pulled over everybody's eyes to make you think. There's people rocking with 10 series graphics cards like GTX 1030s. People are still rocking with them on Steam. People are doubling up on, 10 series cards and they're content creating with them. You can do more with your system other than just taking and swapping parts. You can do a lot more. So that's just my point. Yeah, I can see your point, but the thing is this. I got solar panels. I don't need to worry about electricity cost. Okay? I learned to maneuver things around. So, electricity cost is not a big thing for me. It does not cost me anything. So basically, for me to run all my equipment, it doesn't cost me a thing. I know some people are going to say, well, damn, that's nice to have. But it costs money to get there. So, you know, it's nice to have. Where your electricity is for free. Well, actually, not for free. It costs $12 a month, but, you know, it's $12 a month. So, the Infinity Fabric. Here we go. The Infinity Fabric on AM4 goes up to 2,000 megahertz. The Infinity Fabric on AM5 goes up to 2,000 megahertz. Some people say they can get it up to 2,200 megahertz. That's it. So when it comes to the Infinity Fabric, that's not a big deal. As you can see, that AM4 has almost equal to the same as AM5 on the Infinity Fabric. What has changed? Oh, because everybody loves running Expo and they don't know how to manually clock their RAM. Or they picked the wrong type RAM and they buy the JDEC RAM that's unclockable, and then they don't know about the B die, the A die RAM that you can use that's clockable. People don't like to experiment. That's my job. I do it. I do it whenever I get a chance. I experiment with these things. I've been running almost, a little bit over 8 months now with my RAM overclocked and not having one heating issue with it. Not one problem. None. So, same with RDNA 2, I guess. 5700 XT has several successors were faster in games. That is true. That is true. So did NVIDIA with RTX and GTX. Remember, the GTX 1080 Ti was a big ball buster back then. Some people are still rocking with it. Just like with the 2080 Ti? I think it is. 2080 Ti. You guys can quote me if I'm wrong on it, but I heard it. And, they got the 3090 Ti that people are still rocking on. And you got with AMD, they got the 6950 XT people are still rocking with. So, even with the 6800 and the 6800 XT, 6800 XT is 4% slower, but than my 4070, but it's only $400 and some dollars. You can buy it used on eBay, get it for $400 and some dollars. I don't like used parts. There's a reason, because you never know if it's going to be blown up. So, I like JDEC RAM, at least when it comes to sticking to the rated voltage. Sometimes industry standards really can keep the cost low. Yeah, it's good. Man, don't get me wrong. It's entry level RAM. It's basic locked RAM that, if you buy a motherboard that's locked, that you can't adjust anything in, then that JDEC RAM is going to be perfect for it, because it's going to push it right to what it needs to on that motherboard. But when it comes to overclocking on desktop PCs, total different ballgame. Laptops is different because everything's soldered on chip. Soldered on chip. SoC, soldered on chip. That's supposed to be system on chip, but soldered on chip. To the motherboard when it comes to laptops. Totally different ballgame. In order for you to change anything out, you have to desolder stuff. But they do have a couple laptops that you're able to swap the parts out, and they're doing something new with that. You know how that goes. So, finally here, machine. Yes, you are finally here. Let's see. ABC says, rip the GTX 10 series. the GTX 1070 and the 1080 were the GOATs. You are right. They were. So, that comes down to the point. What is the GOAT when it comes to the graphics cards? Who knows? So, let's go ahead and, get from the blah blah and the boohoo and all that. I'm not going to talk about the AM7 series when it comes to the CPUs because they're not going to be, nobody knows what they're going to be. But there are a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors about the AM6. And there's some rumors that they're going to launch AM6 and AM7 together instead of the AM5. There's so much rumors going on right now. We don't know. But we can speculate. We can speculate. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, is speculating. But I can tell you from what I'm hearing, AM7 is going to be the new ball buster of a CPU. But going down to our magic monitor here, we're going to start up. We are going to start up Cyberpunk. So this way, we're going to show you why we're going to do Cyberpunk. Okay. There's a reason why I'm doing it right now. Give it a moment, a little bit of flashing. So, hold your eyeballs. I know I did. I got the NVIDIA overlay going right at top. It's in the top right. So I'm watching the numbers between... the overlay on Steam compared to NVIDIA overlay. I'm watching both. Going to settings, going to graphics. Let's see. We have no frame generation whatsoever. But this is the problem with the CPU. If you guys can see it at top, which I think you can, which I got to move that down in the overlay, probably right about here, something. But they said the CPU's running at 73%. Well, let's see. Let's hit Windows. Let's minimize this. This is saying 78, 75, 74, 73. CPU temperatures sitting at 52.8. And that says 4 point right here. 4.47. Look at this. This is HW Info saying 4.850, 4,850 megahertz. And this is misreporting by at least 400 megahertz. So, well, 320 megahertz. So this is misreporting by 320 megahertz. So, I'm looking at this right here to see if everything's good. Everything is good. Fan speed 80%. I locked it in with MSI Afterburner, which I have here. And I can show you guys, I have it locked right here. So, you can see the GPU temps are at 40. That's close to 40. It's teetering with the GPU temps. You can see that the frequency is base frequency locked at 2520. Okay, so this is set on a curve, so we're good. I have everything set just perfectly for this. So, MTBK says, meanwhile, Roman DeBauer created his own bench table. Yeah, I seen that today. I seen that. It was pretty cool. You know what you can do is, if you want to create your own bench table, here's an idea. Is you can take a blank motherboard piece, and if you really want to get creative with it, you can take a vinyl wrap, put it right over the top of it, and put your own decoration on it, drill your holes, put your stands on it, and obviously the stands don't cost but $10. And if you want to get that blank piece, it only costs like $10. And if you want to get a piece of vinyl wrap, it only costs you like $5. So you got a $25 table, which it's modified to look really good, that it looks like a $200 table for $25. Yeah, we seen it. That's cheesy, man. So it would have been cheap, but building the PSU frame increased the cost a lot. 229.90 euros. Well, if you think that's what they cost, they really don't, because you can go on Amazon and get the parts dirt cheap. You can also, too, if you want to get really creative, you can get a soldering gun and everything else and take an old busted motherboard and turn around and desolder a couple components off of the other side, then flip it around and put some feet on it, and then use the back side that they used to do all the soldering and stuff, and put your stands on the back side. So that way you got it, guess what? You got yourself a good little bench table. So yeah, we understand, man. We understand clearly. It's all good. So, but anyway, let's get back to the basics. So, okay. Me and Mr. Machine were messing with this yesterday. We were on Intel XeSS Super Resolution 2.0 balanced, and we turned the sharpness all the way up and put everything else on low just to test the CPU. Okay, so we put this right here, 2560 times 1440p. Okay, get this, and I'm running a 1080p monitor. If I want to get adventurous, I can go to 2160 3840x2160. That's 4K. I'm going to leave it on the 4K just because it's 4K. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run the benchmark as is. So, as everybody thinks I'm crazy, I'm running dynamic screen resolution, DSR. And I can get all the way up to where I need to be if I want to run a resolution of 4K on a 1080p monitor. You guys say it looks like garbage. You're not seeing it from my point of view. So the monitors that I got are HD TV monitors. So they're going to look a little bit better than I keep forgetting the name of that. SDR monitor. Or you can get an HDR monitor that looks about the same. But I think, because I can see what you guys are seeing right now. I can see it right here in front of me. I see what you see, and I see what I see. So I got split screen to where I can see what you guys see over on YouTube, because I see it right here in front of me. And how I know this? is because I'm seeing what you guys see right here. So to make sure it's running correctly, I see what you see. Hey, Fake Frames, good to see you. Good to see you. TN panel. Oh, that's cool. You guys messed with Cyberpunk 2077, and I was doing Detroit Become Human. With a hex editor, I removed the depth of field and the temporal analyzing, and it looks much sharper now. You know what, MTBK? I did watch the video that you were doing. That was pretty cool. I will give that to you, my friend. I did watch that. I thought that was pretty cool. But the problem I had is when I was on the cell phone, the thing is this, that it looked too dark for some apparent reason. It looked really dark. Like this right here. This right here. It looked about that dark. I don't know why. Maybe it was because the phone sucked, maybe. Now, Fake Frames, we know you got an OLED monitor, bro. We know you like that high end. But most of the people in the world now these days are not going to have high end. They're going to have stuff that I have right here. And that's pretty much how I based my channel, is on this low end stuff, low and mid range end. So that way they can see they can make something better out of stuff that they already got. Some people can afford it, some people can't. So you got the 60% that are in the world that can't afford it, my friend. And you got the 40% that can. So that's how I balance it. So I go to the 60% because the fact of they need to know that you can make their low end stuff work better for their favor. I got low end stuff, but I make it work. MTBK says, I'm still playing around with some GPU driver levels of anti-analyzing and anisotropic filtering. I just turned it completely off. Seriously. Because how I noticed that it was a big problem on OpenGL is because it sucked up too much resources and turned around. I didn't like it, so I just turned it off. Period. I really didn't find, anti-analyzing and anisotropic filtering for me. I really didn't. I found out it was just sucking up too much resources, and it was driving the CPU and the GPU too hard, so I just turned it off. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not a fan of it, just to let you know. Looks good and it's playable now, slight cost immersion. Yeah, I would imagine that it's going to cost a little bit to get it that way, but you got it working for you, that's all that matters. ABC says, need to head off now and get ready for work. Any sub. Hey, and ABC, thank you for subbing, my friend. Thank you for subbing. We do appreciate it, no doubt. Welcome to the family. And have a great day at work. MTBK says, brightness level was 0.5 on a scale of 0 to 1. I can brighten it up more the next time. The first chapter is darker one, not gonna lie. Yeah, it was. I do know because I play on Detroit Become Human. I did play the first chapter, And it was a little dark for me, so I had to lighten it up a little bit on the screen. So yeah, I do agree with you there. All right, getting back to what we were doing. As you can see, my max FPS was 125.96. I'll just say 126. The minimal FPS was 94.32. And the average FPS was 109.26. And for the people that just came in not too long ago, to let you know, we're testing on 581.15 on NVIDIA drivers. I know AMD's got their driver updates and everything else. And you know what? I know I need to get a separate PC with AMD built into it. I know. So that'll be in the works for the future. But we know. I got somebody else that tests on AMD right now. I know. So with the new driver update for AMD, we'll see if we can get a clip of that. Just let you know. So let's go back to the settings, gentlemen and ladies that are out there. So XCSS did not look bad after all. Did not look bad. So I take it as a win, even though that the CPU is misreporting by Windows. And we see right here, and I'll hit that, and I'll hit that. Since I got it right behind it, see, this says this is all over the place. This is all over the place. So to figure out why, let's see, what do we got here? Let's see. Let's find out. Let's just do a little bit more investigation. Let's pull up the sensors. Let's pull up the sensor panel. This is HW info. Like I said, guys, I'm all over this. The motherboard is running fine. The chipset is running fine. The CPU weighted value is running fine. CPU package is running fine. The temps are good. They're good. What is the problem? This is what we got to figure out. What is actually going on and what's the problem? The read and write on the bandwidth is fine. The PPT limit is set fine. Except for I set the PPT limit at 88, and this is showing 98. 98%. Well, that's about right. That's about right, because it'll hit, no, because I set it to the max of 88 and goes to 91. So that's about correct. So yeah, that's about correct with the PPT, and the TDC is fine. Never reaches the thermal limit, so it's only hit 64. No thermal throttling. So what is the problem? It's not the CPU. That's the point. It's not the CPU that's the problem. So yeah, and MTBK says, yeah, they say the game looks beautiful. Let the players look at it. Some players get headaches if they make half the screen blurry to force them to look for a spot where it looks sharp. Total nonsense. Yeah, I know. It's just, you're looking for what? What are you looking for? So let's see. Smart. No. Let's see. Nothing with the GPU. We're good. Nothing with the CPU. This is what I'm looking at. Physical memory used. That's virtual load. I'm looking for it, trust me. Give me a moment, guys. I am actually looking for what I need on this. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't see why it's using that much. And look at the GPU only using 22%. So going down to the GPU and the percentages, GPU memory usage is only 45. I don't think that's GPU memory. Well, it could be. Let's see. Oh, for some reason it popped over there. Yeah. So, let's see. Let's go to the GPU memory. Oh, I really don't see it. I really don't see it. %, 24%. Because the NVIDIA, guys, let me explain this. The NVIDIA overlay, and I'm looking at Task Manager overlay, are not matching. They're like 10% of each other. And it's saying that I got 40 milliseconds of latency. And the CPU is only pushing 52, 54%. And that says on the Task Manager 77, 78%. And the NVIDIA overlay is saying I'm doing 60 FPS right now. Okay. So, am I doing 60 FPS? Says it right here. 60 FPS. I hope that's not locked. I'm going to have to check and see if that's locked or unlocked. But, moving on. Let's see what this will do at that. I'm going to keep everything down. I'm going to keep everything down. I'm testing right now. And when I'm testing, I'm saying if it's pushing the CPU to total shame. I'm trying to really gather if Windows really screwed up Task Manager. See, because NVIDIA Overlay shows me CPU 41-42%, GPU at 99%, FPS at 52-55. Okay, so we're looking at here. So what the hell changed in the last few minutes? So now the CPU's playing nice, but there's still a difference. There's still a 10% difference. What the... Machine, man, I'm losing my damn mind on this, brother. I am losing my mind. Because it's telling me that the frequency on the CPU is only like 4.5 gigahertz. I mean, how close do you think that could be? The minimal FPS is 5287, 53. The average is 59. And the max FPS is, say, 70. How close is that? I don't know. I mean, that's on DLAA. Guys, you know what? Machine, I'm going to call you, man. I'm just going to get you on the horn. Yeah. And I got that locked. Let's see. Let's see if I can get in there. Okay, let's see if I can get in there. See if I'm going nuts or not. Okay, now we can talk. Hopefully, Mr. Machine's still on the call, so we can talk about this. Well, I'm on the call of your telephone, if we can hear you. We're trying to hear you. We're trying to get there. You gotta say something. Okay, so let's see. There you go. I heard a deep.
Yeah, I'm on my way. I didn't turn my computer off. My phone off, I mean.
Okay, turn your phone off. You're with me now. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to settings. Okay, so I'm running on the 40 series convolutional neural network. Why it's called neural network, who knows, but and I'm running NVIDIA DLAA. So, well, you mentioned MSI Afterburner in the last video, and I also the CPU load. As for MSI Combustor, maybe it's display the CPU load for the program itself or some different aspect. I was thinking. No. With MSI Combustor, you got to install it on your PC. It's dedicated to your PC. It does not, and it might, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it does not use any internet activity to connect to in order for you to test your PC for your graphics card or your CPU or both. When you got a dedicated program to your PC and it pushes everything to its max and you're seeing all these discrepancies, then you know then you're figuring out where the problem is. I thought the problem was, believe it or not, I thought the problem was NVIDIA drivers. But as I was doing my step backwards, and looked at it and started doing research and digging everything up, you know what I found out it was? It was Windows. Because when me and him were on Discord, you know, doing a live streaming. I did Discord live stream with him. It's not so much that I was testing it out. It's so much that, you know, showing him what I was doing so, you know, he can give me his input on it. And that's what I was getting. So, about the low GPU load in Task Manager. Clicking at the GPU window, it's different graphs from Corey video, encode, video decode. Maybe the Windows Task Manager took an average only. It might, but the way Task Manager is supposed to be set up, it's supposed to be real time. Okay, understand this. Real time. That means exact. Real time. It's supposed to tell you in real time what your computer's doing. So, are you telling me that me running for all this time, for these couple years, not having a problem with the CPU, all of a sudden I put in this update, and guess what? From Windows Update, and boom, my CPU blows up to be a monster? That it's hitting 100%? That it's whacked out the GPU? You're telling me that in Task Manager that the GPU showing 0 to 3% usage when I'm running MSI Afterburner or MSI Combustor and it's showing me 90%? What's the problem here? It's Task Manager's not reporting in real time. That's the problem. Is there's something they did to this update that caused Task Manager to stop reporting in real time. That's the point. That's the point everybody's missing. If it's not reporting in real time, your benchmarks are going to be off. Everything's going to be off in your PC. You're not even going to know the temperature of your PC. Because now your PC thinking, oh, I'm running at 100%. And at 100%, you could be up to 75C. And it's misreporting the 75C. And then turn around, it's actually at 62, 63C. So this is the problem if it's misreporting. The system is eating itself alive at this point because of this update. The SSD, the M.2 NVMe SSD drives are eating themselves alive. They're gobbling up all your information, and it's shoving it to raw. That's a virus. And it's a big virus. And it's a big virus that Microsoft put into our systems. And now we got to fix this problem. It's nothing but a virus. They have to fix it. They don't want to call it a virus. They don't want to call it a virus. But it is. It's just like a Trojan horse that's gobbling up all your information. I've seen this before with Microsoft. They just punch some things in wrong and then they send it out to everybody. Oh, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. We're going to put our hands up in the air and everything's going to be okay. Y'all just put your hands down, pull up your panties. You'll be fine and this and that, Let's just get to the facts. They've done this before. This is not the first time this has happened. It's every time they try to do something with the operating system, they try to enjoin a new operating system with the old operating system. Look what they did from Windows, going from Windows 7 to Windows 8 to Windows 8.1 to Windows 10. and skip Windows 9. That's why they did 8.1, because they weren't sure they had a Windows 9. So that they just built to Windows 10. Why do you think you can take and update your Windows 7 operating system to Windows 10 and skip over 8.1? It's because it's garbage. That was a garbage operating system. They had nothing. They were just rolling it over to Windows 10. That's all they were doing. So they come out with Windows 10. Well, the funny thing is they come out with the what was it? A preview driver of Windows 10, a preview operating system of Windows 10 before Windows 8 was finished. They come out with the preview. I got that on CD. The preview operating system of Windows 10 for 32-bit. Yeah, 32-bit Windows 10. I got it. It's on CD. So, yeah. So, for people who have less time to resolve Windows Update problems, one can click the delay update button. Yeah. I mean, that's what I said before. I mean, if you think about it, I think I said it before, where, you know, yeah, let me go ahead and show you guys. Advertise.
The one interesting thing, Jay.
What's up? What's interesting?
I'm not having any problems with my AMD stuff. It all reports accurately. Everything matches.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was an NVIDIA driver. Because if it was Windows based, I probably would be having issues. But I'm also updated all the way current to the Windows currently. You don't have you uninstalled the current driver, correct? For Windows.
That's what I said. That's what I was talking about earlier before you jumped in. See, the point is this. If you look on my screen right now, I did uninstall it, yes. But look at my update history. Guess what's here? KB5063878. It didn't fully remove it. That's the problem I'm having.
Oh.
It's you got your quality updates, and you got your what do you call it? You got your critical updates. Okay, what it did was it uninstalled the critical update and it left the quality update. It's permanent. You can't take it out. No matter how hard you try, you cannot take out the quality update. Yeah, that's the problem, because it's intertwined in between your operating system and that. Now it's a part of all the stuff is now a part of your operating system. That's the problem right now. So, other operating systems might take more attention and time to make games run properly. Yep, I can agree with that, MTBK. Over-reporting the GPU sample rate too high? Yes. Well, no. I've used other tools in my chest to see if to be upfront with you, I've checked other tools in the chest about this with, 5 different programs, and it seems that Task Manager is totally misreporting on my PC.
I just now have an update on Windows.
What kind?
It is a Net Framework 3.5 and 4.8.1 for Windows 11 version 24H2 for x64 KB5064401.
4401. That must be new. If it's a net, if it's is it combined?
It just let me go back. I'm looking at the.
Well, see, you need updates.
Just started. I would.
You need updates on Net Framework.
So this was okay. So there's another update, KB506.4081, 36100.5074 today. So maybe they fixed it, but I wouldn't know until. Well, I don't have any issues with it, but maybe that's an update to fix the problem. But you have to look it up.
I haven't seen any updates. Not unless they're. See, I noticed with Microsoft the way it works is that if you don't update with that current update, it won't give you a future update other than Windows Defender. I've noticed that too. They go first come first serve. So basically, instead of them giving you the overrided driver update compared to the old one, what they do is they just force you to put in the one that's bad and then make you wait for the good one. Stupid, man. So this
update that I just did. The update also includes a new method for displaying CPU usage in Task Manager, addressing previous quirks and reporting. Users can install the update by checking. So it is a Windows issue. It says CPU usage in Task Manager. It addresses previous quirks.
Oh, you mean the ones that we're talking about right now, right? Yeah.
Here, I'm going to put it in Discord. You can read it.
Well, it's the ones that we're talking about right now. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes. The one I just downloaded now addresses the issues with the CPU usage in Task Manager.
Oh, okay. So the one that I'm bitching about right now is basically a fix to the one that I'm bitching about.
Yep. I just downloaded.
Oh my God. I haven't received it yet, so I wouldn't know.
It's at 11:12 it came up. 11:12 p.m. So a half an hour ago for my time. So it's going to be what, 9:12 your time is when it came in.
You think it's possible Microsoft could have watched my video and said, "What the hell"?
They were probably working on this for a while. I don't think they could fix it that fast.
I think they knew where the problem was. I think they just let it be in there because they were being funny. Truthfully.
That's from Microsoft, so that's what I put in there is a little
yeah.
Interesting.
So everybody knows and everybody can hear if you haven't heard. Mr. Machine put out this little update in Discord, so I'm going to tell you all what it says. Windows Update KB5064081, the KB5064081 update is an optional cumulative update for Windows 11 24H2, advancing the OS to Windows 11. Build 26100.5074. Okay, so that's looking at the build that's on the previous updates. They're building the blocks to 25H2. This update includes new features such as personalized homepage for Recall AI. I know you all heard that. Support for a clock with seconds in notification center. How many times are they going to turn it on and turn it off? I mean, before they had it on, next minute, the seconds, you know, instead of you getting the hour and the minutes, they give you the option in settings to turn on the seconds. 1 minute they take it away, next minute they give it to you, next minute they take it away, next minute they give it to you. Make up our minds. Make up our minds. So that's totally stupid. Why do you keep repeating this stupid stuff? I mean, how many people are going to look at the seconds? They'll look at their phone if they want to look at seconds. If they want a stopwatch, they'll look at their phone. They don't need it on their PC. How stupid is this? It's extra resources that you're using on your PC you don't need to be. You can't tell the hours and minutes on your PC. Oh, let me see. I need to see what the seconds are. What are you baking a cake on your PC there? Come on. You're not baking a cake, man. So, and improvements to native apps and Windows features like File Explorer. We knew they were going to screw that up. Task Manager, they're definitely screwing that up. The lock screen I never use, and AI components, which I can care less. So, the update also includes new methods of display, CPU usage, and Task Manager. No wonder why I got misreporting on the CPU usage. So now, if you're a content creator, you guys are going to be in the screw lock because of 3878. Now they're throwing it 4081 at you, and now they're giving you the big finger and laughing about it. So that's about what I'm getting from it.
It's a big update. It's still downloading for me.
Yeah, it is going to be a big update because they got a lot of screw ups on it.
Yep.
The update also includes new methods of, we said CPU usage and task manager, addressing previous quirks in reporting. You know, last night last night was just like the icing on the cake for me.
Not a little.
Yeah. Users can install the update by checking for updates in Windows Update or by downloading it from the catalog. Did they not tell us not to download crap from the catalog because they were making it selective updates for your computer personally? Did they not tell everybody not to download anything from the catalog because it would take and crash your system and all this hoopla? And now they're telling you, oh, you could do it from the catalog. And you cocksucker. Yeah, you know I'm about that close from just saying what's on my mind. That close. Discontinuing 32-bit PhysX for NVIDIA RTX 50 series was an easy sell. Yeah. And taking away, 8 ROPs from it too was an easy sell. You know, taking away, there was something else they took away. I can't remember, but there's something else they took away. But that was an easy sell. Drivers take less time to make it, and it increases security. Well, yeah, it does. I mean, especially when they're moving towards machine learning, to use that as the new way of, I guess, gaming. Because they want to use machine learning towards the gaming.
That's the official from what they did exactly to the task manager.
Okay, Task Manager new. Task Manager now uses standard metrics to show CPU load consistently across all pages. Oh my God, They're hacking. Oh my god. I'm gonna have a meltdown. I'm gonna have a goddamn meltdown. Oh my god, they just didn't do that. So that means every program you open up that's supposed to be independent of Microsoft is now linked to Microsoft after this update. So if you're wondering the temperatures and everything else, it's all controlled through Microsoft. Instead of HW Info being independent, it's no longer going to be independent because anything being reported is going to be reported through the task manager. And it's going to be forced that way because Microsoft forced it that way. So anyway, you guys can quote me on that if you wish. Tell me your thought and your intriguing moment. Aligning with the industry standards and third-party tools, if you prefer a previous view, you can enable a new optional column called CPU Utility in the Details tab to display the earlier CPU usage values showed on the process page. So they give you an option. You can either use the new one or you can use the old one. MTBK says in April you can celebrate running the 4070 for 3 years. In April.
That's when it came out.
Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I know. But still, I mean, from day one to now, I've been rocking on NVIDIA. So, and the same GPU. I don't see any other of the reviewers doing it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's facts, man. I mean, everybody wants to test so many different graphics cards, come up with so many different views and so many different instances. Just stick with one and rock it and take it all the way to its max. That's the whole idea. You buy a graphics card you know you're going to rock with, take it to the max and see how far you can rock with it. And then when it comes to that day that you can no longer rock with it, then it'll be a nice collector's piece to be on your wall. That you rocked with it all that time. It's got value because of that. So, think about it that way, Mr. Machine. Or no? The silence in the room.
I stepped away for a minute.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what I said or no?
I did not. What did you say?
I said with rocking with the same graphics card for so many years, you rock with it till the end to where you can't rock with it no more. Then it'll be a nice collector's piece to put on your wall, and then you move on to the next best thing. And in all that time that you've been rocking with that one graphics card, all you had to do was put your money away and save for the next best thing. That's how you do it.
I rocked my GT 1030 all the way until 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, and you know, it comes down to it, man. I mean, you know, people have to understand when you buy something, don't treat it like it's a 10-cent piece of bubble gum. Treat it like gold. Find a happy medium and balance it out and just rock with your CPU and GPU until the end. Rock until you can't rock no more. And now finding out the reason why my shit is all, my stuff, my bad, is all messed up is because it's Microsoft. And I told you guys it's Microsoft. And Mr. Machine's finding more information out for it. He's just posting it on Discord, and I'm reading it out, you know. And this is just recently with this update. So this just recently come out.
Say anything about the M.2s though, does it? I'm not seeing anything about the M.2s.
No, it doesn't.
They haven't fixed that yet.
Yeah, but the problem could lie into the percentage of usage of the CPU. It could overdrive the SSD, or they could have a glitch to where it says, okay, well, if you're overdriving the SSD, write it back to raw. They could have a fail-safe in there. And that's what I'm thinking they did, because with it over-reporting on Steam, like we seen last night, like 107, 108, 109%, it just doesn't make sense. You know, truthfully, it doesn't make sense. That it's over misreporting on, it's crazy. You would think that they would have thought about this by now, other than coming up with the workaround total excuse. But the thing is too, like they said before, they're working with the SSD partners on the fact of what's going on with the Phison controller. So that's still ongoing. So in the meantime, as they heard about the task manager issue, all of a sudden it pops up for a fix. Really? It's just so much that, you know, a video gets posted about it. I know it's mine, but how many people you think they're going to be talking about this right now? I bet you any money up in the world, everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody. Soon as
tomorrow morning, you'll hear about it.
Exactly. But I'm talking about it now, because now is now. I mean, people need to know now, not later, not you know. Well, I'm going to take time. Well, they got 100 people doing their research. Mr. Machine helps me out once in a while. MTBK helps me out. All the people on Discord help out, you know, finding all this new information. So we all put it together. I put it on a live stream, and here we go.
I got a couple more things that might.
I know, I'm reading it now. I know, I'm reading it now. Device management fixed. Oh, here we go. I'm already pulling my hair out. This update addresses an issue that prevented some system recovery features from working. Oh my God. Did we not just talk about this before you posted that?
They were fixing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Some system recovery features from working properly due to a system file sharing conflict. This affecting certain device management tools and disrupting key functions on some devices, which I turn off file sharing because I don't use it. So I never worry about it. File system fixed. An issue in resilient file systems, the REFS, where using backup apps with large files could sometimes exhaust system memory. Think about what I just said there in the file system. That's related to your SSD. Right there. Because if you're moving large files and you fill up all your system RAM, what happens? It moves slow, but it eats up your CPU performance like no other. This is the reason why I told everybody 32 gigabytes of system RAM might or might not be enough. Because there's some games that I play that hit over 25 gigabytes of VRAM. And I got 64 gigabytes of VRAM. That's the reason why. I can move large files with no problem, even when I'm playing a game. And right now, even content creating, I'm still got Cyberpunk still open, still running in the background. And I'm still staying around 62C on the CPU. And I'm only at 48C on the GPU. So, does it make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Why I still got it open? You guys are going to say, why do you still got it open? Close it. Be done with it. You're right. We'll exit. And you guys can hear the little sound in the background of me closing it. Oh my God. Be done with it.
The only way to know for sure is to download it and test it.
What are you talking about? The
Windows update.
That means I would have to accept the one that's there. The one that I don't want on my system.
You're going to wait for the fix for the M.2 drive?
Yeah. There's...
I'm downloading it, but I'm not having issues with any of the CPU reporting. Everything matches across the board, which is interesting. It might not happen to everybody.
No, because see now the Phison controller that you probably got on your SSDs are not going to be affected.
Right? Yeah. Mine aren't on the list. I checked.
Yeah, so you're not going to be affected, just like mine are not on the list neither. They were saying Samsung drives, some of them, I think the 980 and the 990 Pro, they were saying that it was going to be affected, but they did testing to find out that they're not affected. So, and my Crucial P2 is not affected because its controller was on an older controller, so it's a 3.0 controller instead of a 4.0 controller, so I lucked out. I didn't get... I was going to get the P3 Plus to use it for my operating system, but I was like, the M.2 drive on the motherboard is PCIe 3.0 X4. Why not match it up with the P2, which was cheap? It's a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD. I matched it up with the 3.0 to 3.0. Used that for my operating system. Works great because it's got that momentum boost that you can use with that drive, and it just rocks. So, knowing that, and then using the one that's connected to the CPU, the 4.0 X4 drive slot for the M.2, I use that for my games. And that's connected directly to the CPU. Instead of going through the passive controller that they got, but the operating system goes through the passive controller. So you don't really need, and truthfully, the only thing your operating system is good for is operating the kernel driver, which enables and disables everything. That's all you really need it for. You don't need it for anything else. So that's why I don't install none of my games on the SSD for my operating system. Totally separate. What happens if you lose and your operating system quits? You can put your games from Steam on a different SSD. It does not have to be locked to the operating system drive. all of my Steam games are downloaded separately, away from the operating system drive. I did that for a reason. It worked out. I lucked out because of that. Because if I'm moving large files, that's not the drive I want to use. My operating system drive is not the drive I want to use for moving large files. My secondary drive that's not based upon the operating system, that's what I use for large files. So if that one quits, I don't have to worry. I got a backup on my third drive, which is my big hard disk drive, which I have a copy of that, my SSD drive on that drive. So I'm not losing anything. Hey, Water Events, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hey Jay, I love Linux because of snapshots. Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah, I understand. I know where you're coming from with that. It blows Windows backup out of the water. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I had a little taste of Linux, and you know, I've been on Windows all these years. But, you know, it's going to come time, man. It's really going to come time. I'm going to get tired of all this dumb stuff. And I'm just going to take and put Windows on the side and figure out Linux as my content creating system. And then use Linux as my new gaming system. If Windows don't get their head out of their butt, that's what I'm going to start recommending to everybody. So, MTBK says, I remember the Ryzen 7 5800X was selling for $500 at some point. Yeah, I do agree with that, MTBK. I do agree with that, my man. That's what I'm saying. The 5700X was a lot cheaper than the 5800X. But what people didn't realize was that the 5700X could scale upwards to the 5800X, where the 5800X wasn't really scaling up towards anything else, because it's the next one in line was what? The 5800X 3D and the 5900X? 5800X 3D, 5900X. How far are you going to scale up a 5800X? You really ain't got that much room to scale it up from. So, you would have to go to the 5900X to scale it up to what? The 5950X? That's 16 core, 32 thread, and you scale it up to that. To where the 5700X, you're able to scale it. Scale it to the peak side of the 5800X. So yeah, I do agree. I do agree that 5700X is cheaper. But some of you guys are kind of wondering what the hell I'm sitting here talking about. Okay. Bring you back. If you just came in here, I'm going to scale you guys up from where we started just a little bit to give you a little idea. What we were talking about was Windows being a total butthead about the fact of that the, what was it, the 3878 or something driver update, or not driver update, Windows Update was being a boob. So, yeah. And also, too, that the 581.15 NVIDIA driver was not the problem. It was Windows all along. And I see what you posted, Machine.
That gives a little bit more detail on exactly what they're doing.
So it says, once started, once installed, this optional cumulative release will update Windows 11 24H2 systems to build 26,100.5074. So that's going to be the final release then, obviously. Either that's going to be the final release for 25H2, or it's going to be the next step towards the release of 25H2. So the August 25th preview update features numerous new additions that are gradually rolling out, including an updated method for displaying CPU workloads. We talked that metrics and task manager. For years, Windows Task Manager process, thanks to Dave, the creator of Task Manager. That's his first name, but you guys are gonna have to find out who he is. I'll get his name for you. You guys can check him out. So, the process tab displayed CPU usage using a processor utility metric, which could display confusing or incorrect results. We know this. It's already doing it because they screwed it up. The method ignored the number of cores a processor had. Yeah, we've seen that. So a single maxed out core on a 16-core CPU, that's what it says, could show overall usage at 100%. Well, it's doing it at the 8 cores, I can tell you that much. It also compared the workload against the chip's base clock speed rather than its actual operating system frequency. So when Turbo Boost pushed cores above their speed, usage could spike beyond 100%. Me and Machine were seeing that on Cyberpunk with the display, the overlay, the Steam overlay. Spike beyond 100%, and then get clipped in the display. We know that. This is stuff we already discovered before you even found this. These quirks meant the numbers shown in the process tab usually did not match what displayed the performance or user tabs within third-party monitoring tools. Yeah, we know this. According to Windows' latest, Microsoft has now standardized the CPU reporting throughout Task Manager with the Process tab, now using the same formula already used in the Performance and User tab. Well, why the hell did you change it in the first place? Does not make sense. If it's using the same process before, why did you change it? Why, Microsoft? Why? Are you trying to make it like, AI is going to control everybody's PC, so you got to do it in a different format? You ain't going to have no AI control my computer. I will remove that. If not, I'll go to Linux. The new CPU called calculator as process CPU times divided by the elapsed times logical processors. This updated CPU utilization formula is now rolling out with this update. So let's see, the process CPU time. Guys, quote me on this. Quote me on this. Process CPU times divided by the elapsed time times the logical processors.
Oh, shit.
So they're just calculating everything into real time. Simple. Just say you're calculating everything into real time when it's supposed to be in the first place. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I think that same equation is what NVIDIA uses on theirs.
It has to be.
I think, if I remember correctly. That's why your NVIDIA overlay was showing differently than the rest of the overlays.
Yeah, and MSI Afterburner was showing differently too. It was kind of matching up with MSI Afterburner was kind of matching up with HW Info and NVIDIA. So that could be what they've been working on all this time, you know.
It is funny though how that's fixed right after.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
it's just
hilarious.
like after the video I posted earlier, it's just all of a sudden, boom! It's just like a change. Just like I was reading their minds, and then they automatically came up with the solution. Oh my God! Windows has been garbage since Windows Me. It's been garbage since after Windows 98 Second Edition, truthfully. So
I won't be able to test this because I haven't had any issues. So everything reports exactly. Steam overlay, AMD overlay at all reports exactly what the task manager says. So I never had issues with it.
yeah.
I mean, maybe it was reporting, both of them reporting off a task manager. That's a possibility. But I won't know until I restart.
Well, we know Intel Present Monitor was reporting off of Windows Task Manager. That's the reason why it was all wrong. Instead of it running independently, it didn't. That was another problem. So with some of the now with doing this total brand new update, then that means that every one of system monitoring tools are going to monitor the same. There's no sense of having a bazillion monitoring tools now. If they're all going to report the same, it just makes no sense now. Use HW Info and that's it. You're done.
Yep, whichever one you like the most.
Yeah. They're all going to report the same. They're all going to be attached to the Windows Task Manager and everything reporting on Windows. Then it's no sense of really going to a bazillion bunches of them trying to find the right answer, because there is going to be no right answer anymore after the update.
It makes sense. This is long overdue.
Yeah, true.
I think long overdue.
Yeah. Water Event says, I was surprised how much more performance the Ryzen 7600 has on my 11700K. Yeah, it's really good too, man. I can tell you that. It's rocker. It's a rocker. MTBK says, yeah, the 5600X made an i9 10900K sweat already. 12th gen was better than Zen 3 most days, but Zen 4 CPUs made a big step up too. But I like my Zen 3. I like my 5700X. It rocks. That's just the way I'm going to leave it. So
I'm going to go ahead and restart my computer. I'll get back on here in just a minute.
okay, man, hurry back. We'll be here.
Okay.
Water Event says, yeah, we talked about the garbage of the. No, yeah, we talked about it. I meant Windows 2000 was the last great OS for Microsoft. Yeah. XP 7 and 10 were just cut down versions of the Windows 2K. Yeah. I agree with that. Look, we all knew about the Windows 1999 crash. We all went through that. We all went through the 1999 crash. Oh, the computers are all gonna die. when it hits the year 2000, we all heard the cry of everything. And I think they did that in what, 2012 too? Was it 2012 and 2016? I don't know. I'm not losing my mind, but I remember the 2000 crash. The Y2K, yes, my friend, the 2000 crash. Did it happen? No, it didn't happen. They just wrote a couple extra zeros and said, everybody put this in and here you go. It's just the older computers that were X32 based, you know, the older computers that are X32 based didn't survive. So when they went to X64, they wrote in the extra zeros to it. So we're good for 100 years. So supposed to be that in the 22nd century, the computers are supposed to be rewritten again to have the extra zeros put in. So who knows? Now it's the 32-bit crash coming up in 2030. 2030? No, they were supposed to have that happen in the year 2000. That's why they went to 64-bit. That's what I heard. Everybody talking about it. But I don't think... How many people you got really running 32-bit? Maybe 1%, 2% in the world's running 32-bit. Everybody's running 64-bit. Not unless you got somebody that's 900 years old. 900 years old. That's running a 32-bit PC on Windows 10. 32-bit. That's 900 years old. I remember people stocking up for food and water. Yeah, I remember that too. The year 2000. They were afraid their calculators. They were afraid that their cash registers and everything were just gonna crash. That was the biggest freaking lie whatsoever. The Y2K crash was a lie. Machine says time to test. What are you testing, Mr. Machine?
I'm gonna go to Cyberpunk benchmark.
Oh, okay.
So I know what my CPU usage was before.
Well, I can't change anything right now because I'm live streaming on my stuff, man.
Yeah. I just want to see if I see anything on my side.
Alright. Let me know if you find anything.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting Steam up right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's a shot in the dark. But if they're all of a sudden popping out with this stuff, well, you guys know I posted that video earlier today. How odd is that? That is, dude, that's odd, man. I swear.
Well, that's because we got into it just remember because I said why aren't you showing all of this stuff in Steam overlay, and then when you did, you're like this is wrong.
Well, you know, you were saying, oh, make a video on it. I made a video on it, man. You know, I was like, boom, I made a video on it. I was like, I ain't pulling no punches. I ain't hiding nothing.
But in order to make an update video to see if it's fixed, you'd have to download it.
Yeah.
Which might put your M.2 in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not worth it.
No.
I didn't see anything about the M.2. I read through the entire thing. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, Now, if they remove that update, since they already have half of it left in your PC anyway, if it's just a critical update, they can patch the critical update, give you the new update, and take back that old update, you know, and you can give them a pat on the back and say, good job, thanks for nothing kind of thing, you know. That you put me through all this zoo kind of things just to find out if my PC was running hot or not. That they could have blown up my PC and not make me think that, oh my God, it's not working anymore. It's overheating and everything else. That it's misreporting because you guys screwed up the reporting in Task Manager. Are you shitting me? That they now that they claim that they're the ones at fault after somebody makes a video on it and tells everybody not to install that update. So 32-bit libraries heading for an integer overflow is what I was talking about. Yeah, you're right. Look, I'm not disagreeing with that. I am not disagreeing with that. You're right about that. Okay, there is going to be a crash. Let's look at it this way. We deal with it when we get there. How about that? How we deal with it, we don't know. I guarantee everybody's going to be running to Linux. That's the reason why I got all my my flash drives made up for Linux. Because I already know that if Microsoft has that crash, how are you going to get your operating system? So, I already know it's coming. I do agree.
So, what I've noticed is I'm not getting these spikes like I used to with the CPU utilization. So before it would like spike up, would go to like 40, 50, 60 real quick. It's like consistently, it gives it consist, like it'll ramp, but it ramps like it should.
Make sure you get a line graph opened up, man, and make, instead of a number graph, make a line, get a line graph opened up and make it damn sure that it's not happening in millispikes. I mean, they could be so small, they could be millispikes. They can be very small. Make sure they're not, you know, happening, and they're just very minuscule spikes, but it's enough to do damage. Do remember that. Fake Frame says convert 32-bit to 64-bit values should not be hard to convert. True. It should not be at all. Watery Event says it's not. It's the support for people that refuse to upgrade to newer versions of the software that is the problem. Yeah. But like I said, Microsoft always likes to put stuff out there just to make people put it, you know, because they don't want. Now, a lot of people had their PC for a lot of years. And with the pop count and the changes in the architecture on your CPU that are being made, that it's required with the operating system, it's so much that everybody that's running older CPUs, you know, older GPUs, they're going to become extinct sooner or later. You can't hold on to the dream of having a computer for 20 years and expect it to run another 20 more years. It's not how it works anymore. Architecture changes, software changes, everything changes, and when it goes up and up and up, then the stuff that's in the background on older PCs that are like from 2000 to 2020 or 2022 are going to be backwards. They're not going to be existent anymore. If you look at it, the AI chatbot starts at 2022 to 2025. The chatbot doesn't go back beyond 2022. I did notice that on ChatGPT and Copilot, that they say they don't go back behind 2022 or 2021, something like that. But guess what? Copilot can't even keep up with what happens today, because they're still stuck on the fact of that the RTX 4070 just came out. They didn't know that a 9000 series processor came out. They're still stuck on AM4. They're not on AM5. I noticed that. I mean, from when I first started using Copilot to now, it's totally different. Copilot was on its game. Microsoft changed some things. Guess what? Copilot can't even remember its ass from a hole in the ground. Even though that it's copying your chats into its memory, it still can't remember anything you guys talked about. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Have you guys heard anything smarter than that? Like I said, when you start seeing that, you know, when you talk with the ChatGPT or Copilot, did they come out with anything smart? Hell no. It's getting dumb and worse as you go along. I'm almost to the point where it's so dumb, I don't even want to talk to it. And yeah, I do talk to it for testing purposes only. So don't judge me. Let's see. Yes, sir.
No spikes. Nice and solid.
Depending on what game you're playing.
Well, Cyberpunk is fine.
Yeah, but you're not putting a heavy CPU intensive game in there. You're looking at the GPU, look at the CPU. That's where most of your major problem is with the CPU. Just laying that down on you.
Okay. We'll run on low settings then.
It's the support for people that refuse to upgrade to newer versions of software that is the problem. Problem is people want to take their old hardware and update the software to the latest software with their oldest hardware, and Microsoft has a cutoff date. Just like when in the late 80s, when they went from 286 to 386 to 486 to 586 and then beyond. There was a cutoff point with the operating system. There's a cutoff point with the operating system because the hardware they considered was too old. Okay, so there's a cutoff point. Now that was done with the hardware vendors, where there was a cutoff point, and they would tell Microsoft, "Hey, there's a cutoff point with this hardware. Now we're shifting gears." So now the way things is the way companies want to make money is they don't put a cutoff time on it. Only Microsoft cuts off the time now. Not the hardware vendors. Microsoft, the software vendor, does. Can't get around reality, and not when it smacks you dead in the face. There's the truth. So.
Solid. Low settings.
Say that again?
Solid. In this game, low settings.
Are you using Helldivers?
85% CPU usage. No, this isn't this game. It's 85% CPU usage.
85% CPU?
Yep.
That doesn't sound right, man.
That's normal. For low settings, yeah.
For your CPU? Are you kidding me?
I'll try Helldivers real quick.
Your CPU, see, what doesn't make sense to me is I can go back to 2024 in December and I was only using between 30 and 35% of CPU usage. Now all of a sudden today I'm using 80 to 90 to 127%. You know, this is not making sense. Linux users deal with the same thing, X11 to Wayland, but it has basically been solved. Yeah, well, let's hope it's somewhat solved. I've been running, guys, I've been running all this stuff, and I'm going to exit out of Steam. I'm going to exit out of HW Info, and I'm just going to, you know, that should be the only two things, well, three things I have open. So, and that's Discord and the stream, and that's it. No, two things, Discord and the stream. Oh, and OBS, that's three. But that's part of the stream, so it's two. You know, you guys know what I mean. So, okay, so machine, are you telling me that yours is running normal now?
I'm just noticing it's not as spiky as it was before. It's just more consistent. I'm actually going to get into I'm going to drop down and actually run around on a map. That'll let me know, because lots of trees, bushes, stuff, CPU demanding.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we'll find out. Right now I'm at 64%, and it's a nice flat line. But I haven't dropped in yet. So.
Oh, okay. But you're on AM5, and
yep.
that's gonna be a little bit weird, for the fact that still you're telling me that your CPU usage is close to 80%.
Of low settings?
Yeah.
Yeah. In like 190 FPS. In Cyberpunk, low settings.
Yeah, but that, I don't know. Something's not quite right. Something's not quite right when they started making these changes. Are they telling us that all this time that Task Manager has been misreporting the percentages? Or these independent benchmarking tools are been misreporting to us all this time? Does that make sense?
Well, it looks like the NVIDIA overlay was correct.
Yeah. That's why mine is still on.
Man, it's a solid line, and I'm in a very CPU intensive area. Using 48% CPU, and it's a solid line.
That's interesting to know.
3.7 gigahertz, 73.7C, so I'm not even maxing it out.
Yeah. Mine's still
close.
I'm just streaming right now, and I'm at 48C on my CPU and 36C on my GPU.
I'm at 75C now. Oh, and 46 watts on my CPU. On the 35C, 3.8 gigahertz.
Yeah.
Solid line. 60% usage. Looks good. Interesting.
It's quite interesting. GPU usage isn't always accurate when it comes to the overlays in general sense. You want to see the GPU power limit getting close to the TDP of the GPU. I do agree with that. That's the reason why I opened up 5 different things, 5 different testing suites at the same time, just to see the comparison between the two. Okay, look, if I open up 5 different testing suites that show me different, like if I open up Task Manager, I open up HW Info, GPU Z, I open up Intel Present Mon. I open up, you know, I gotta even open up the overlays for Steam. Open up the overlays for Steam. Opening up the overlays for NVIDIA, you know, and stuff like that. Putting it all together. Looking at all the numbers, 2 of them are going to tell the truth. 2 of them are going to tell the truth. So out of all 5, you're going to have 2 that are going to report the same. And those that report the same are going to tell the truth. So. And that's what I found out. What was telling the truth. So, did you post something and remove it there, Mr. Machine?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my overlay to show. I wanted to do it.
Oh, well, usually if I want to do an overlay, I usually use a 3D, what do you call it? 3D paint. I do a screenshot, then I take it to 3D paint, and I fix it to where it's appropriate on the screen, so there's no nudity.
Well, you don't have to worry about that with Helldivers.
Yeah, and that way you guys can see everything on my overlay. Because you see the whole screenshot, and I show you guys everything that happens on the screenshot. So that keeps it real time. Because it captures it real time. That split second, at that rating of benchmark and everything else, it captures it at real time. So at that split second, it locks it into that screen at real time. So. And you can't change, well, you can change it, but me, I don't, once I snapshot it and I lock it in, that's it. You guys see what I see. So, I always try to, and guys, I always try to keep everything as true as I can. Okay? I mean, even when it comes down to finding this problem, before Mr. Machine did the research, we found the problem and we're reporting it to you guys. And then when he did his research and he looked it up and said, hey, this is what they're saying, we already found it. Nobody's talking about it. We already found the problem. So, is there a fix? All of a sudden, there's a fix. The whole point is it shows if you're paying attention to your system carefully. You can weed out the problem and solve it really quickly. But, excuse me, because I'm getting the coffee, so. But finding out what a solution was as a temporary fix, I found out my CPU is running just fine. It's the Windows operating system with the task manager is broke. And now, obviously, finding out that there's a fix if I update to the broken driver that has that nasty spell with the SSD and put it back onto my system in order to get the new update. And I can't get rid of the old update, which, if I remember right, if I don't want an update on my PC, there was a way to disable that update, to bypass it. I have to look that back up. I know there's a way. I just can't remember the procedure to it. It's been a long time since I've done it. But there's a way to bypass the update and lock it into a different category, and it's up to you if you want to update it or not. You can hide it. Basically, you can hide that update, and that locks it away. So I think I'm going to look for that later, either tomorrow or something. And if I find my information on it, I'll make sure I pass it along to you guys. So that way you guys got the information of how to bypass a Windows update and lock it out if it becomes problematic. Basically, if it's a problem, you can lock it out and you don't have to accept the update. Microsoft used to have a button to give you the option if you want to accept the update or not, but they decided they're going to force every update on you like they own your PC. But I think after this little staboggle, they should make everything an option and let you decide if you want to put that update in or not. I think they should make it optional on all updates. Doesn't matter what it is. Just because people want to be frickin' lazy and they just want the one button click wonder, well then they should put the one button click in there. So that way if you click the button, it'll automatically do all updates. Or if you want to do them individually, you can do them individually. They should leave that option open. And if you don't want that update to go into your PC, they should have a way to hide it right there. So, they should make it very optional and people will have a lot better time of doing their stuff other than having these forced updates, which I know how to totally lock off Microsoft from the updates, period, to where I don't have to get them anymore. But if I do, then what is it? Microsoft Edge doesn't play nice. So, because they found out that it's best to take and link a couple things to Microsoft Edge to the Windows updates, and in the system services, you know, if you go to turn off a certain system service, it kind of locks you out from your Microsoft Edge. But who cares? They got Brave, they got what? DuckDuckGo, they got Google Chrome. Who's to say I can't just totally lock out Microsoft Edge, period, and disable it and just use the rest? I was seriously thinking about it and just going to Brave and be done. And I don't need this little chit-chat crap with Copilot. So, and with them trying to force the one thing that you guys don't want on your system, what do you call it? The real what? Jeez. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh yeah, the recall. The recall AI. I don't know if you guys think that's a good or bad or what idea, but truthfully, I think it's a bad idea. Doing that that recall AI.
That's fine. Mine's off.
Hey B, good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Hey, any update on the KB5063878? Yeah, don't install it.
No update at all.
No update whatsoever. Nothing. Nada. Not a damn thing about it. Not a damn thing. They give a new supplementary update to the screw-ups they did on the task manager that they're fixing because they interwoven the task manager crap to the 3878. They're fixing that, but there's nothing else that we can report on when it comes to the 3878 for the SSDs, for the solid state drives, your M.2 NVMe SSD. So there's nothing to report on that because they haven't fixed it yet. They're still trying to look for the problem from what I heard, but when we hear more, we'll let you know on that. But they already screwed up Task Manager, so we know that because when I tried to sit there and benchmark last night, I was totally pissed. After the end of doing all that benchmarking, I was sitting in bed. I was like pissed off as other can be, as I couldn't get an accurate benchmark because they decided to push my CPU usage up on Steam to 127%. 127%. I'd blow that goddamn CPU up before it even hit 90%. Damn. I don't know what they're thinking. I really don't. Machine, what do you think?
That didn't make sense to go over 100%. I didn't think that was possible.
I didn't either. I didn't think it was possible. But somehow they reported it did. Somehow they misled everybody and misled me to think that, you know, my CPU is some kind of super chip. That it went over 100%. Hey, that would be nice if they can actually make the GPUs get 100% plus another 100% to give you 200% performance for every generation. That would be something. I mean, that would be monstrous. If they had a CPU that would take and report 200% and make us believe that we're actually getting better performance, you know, that it runs at 200%. I was almost this close last night to go into my power plan for Windows and turn down the max usage of the CPU to 80%. To limit the max usage of the CPU to 80%. I was this close, thinking my CPU was going willy-nilly on me, and the only way I could control it is by turning down the power plan to 80% on the CPU. But also too, looking into and digging into the the numbers for the CPU to see what I was pushing as voltage. It was reporting that I was doing almost 1.3 volts on the CPU. I have my CPU voltage locked at 1.1 on a negative curve in the BIOS. Makes you wonder now, doesn't it? And how in the hell that Windows is reporting that I'm doing that much when I got it locked in the BIOS at 1.1 volts on a negative undervolt on the power plan for the power for the CPU. I have it locked. You guys tell me. I mean, I'm trying to figure this out. I am trying to figure this out. Because you guys know the BIOS is king. When it comes to the whole PC, the BIOS is the controller. It's the king. And you're going to tell me that Windows operating system found a way to override the settings I have in the BIOS and write their own. Is that possible? Is that why my CPU's kicking out at 70% that I need, that, or 80 or 90% that I need to go back into the BIOS and reset everything? To turn everything to where it's creaking along? To get it to level out? It seems like I got no other choice, but I'm going to end up having to do this. It's a nightmare. And I thought graphics card nightmare was bad. This is PC nightmare. With Windows, Microsoft, PC nightmare. I mean, you guys disagree or agree with it, and let me know. I mean, you're probably not, some people are probably not experiencing what I'm experiencing, but this is the first time me experiencing this. In the length of time that I've had this PC from day one built to now. The problem occurred with Microsoft. I was about almost getting ready to blame NVIDIA for this. This is not an NVIDIA problem. This is a Microsoft problem. This is not an NVIDIA driver problem. This is Microsoft. And you know, people wonder why, you know, you hear some people talk a couple minutes about Microsoft, but never make a whole live stream basically tied to Microsoft. And a video tied to Microsoft. And what they've done wrong. And I guarantee you there's going to be at least 45 to 50% of the people out there that are having the same issue that I'm having. Am I wrong, Mr. Machine?
You're probably right.
Yeah.
They might, I mean, if it's been happening for a couple of years, they don't even know it.
Yeah, this could have been happening under everybody's nose, and nobody knew it. Nobody looked for it. I had to look for it. I had no other choice, because this is an issue, especially when benchmarking. Getting obscure benchmarking upside down reports. The stuttering that I got that I never got before on certain settings. I did notice that too. Last night. Same settings I did before on this PC. They never stuttered. Never. And all of a sudden last night it all changed because of Microsoft. Maybe I ought to take the truth and advice from a lot of people. Microsoft owns your shit. Period. They own your computer. You don't own it. Maybe I should come up to the realization. I know you guys are going to say, I know some of you guys are going to say, you should have known that. Yeah, I should have. I knew that for a long time. I knew that ever since Windows 98. So does that change the price of apples? Does that change the price of you using your computer? No. You're still going to have to use your computer regardless. But this is the problem we're dealing with right now, and this is the problem they're not addressing. Especially with the SSDs. If you guys want to find out how it's happening, it's basically just writing your master boot record on your SSD to RAW. And when it writes it to RAW, basically you have no master boot record. It means you have to restore the whole master boot record from scratch. So that means you got to take, when it screwed up your operating system, you have to take it out and you have to plug it in as a secondary SSD to another system. And if you can see none of your hardware, then you have to rewrite it from RAW to GPT. And then basically that wipes out the whole SSD. And then you have to rewrite your operating system onto it. But if you got an operating system you're rocking with on a previous computer that, you can use that as a backup to plug in your SSD to it for your new system, what you can do is this. You can clone your other operating system that you had on your old PC to the new drive, on the secondary drive, reclone it, and then just pop it back in and be done. So there are options to fix this problem. Options. So that's the reason why I'm not too worried about this right now, is because I do have a secondary computer that I can pop the SSD into that computer and rewrite and get rid of that altogether as a contingency plan. That's why, Machine, I like to have a second computer, and this is the reason why. especially if the computer that you got, the backup computer, has two M.2 slots that you can take off of your new computer and plug it back into your secondary computer, which your secondary computer is not online, that you can you have all the provisions in there, and you can clone that drive onto your current drive and rewrite it and just plug it back in and go. So there are ways to get around the problem. There are ways. If you use Linux, no one owns the PC except for you. True there, fake frames. That is true. That's one good thing I like about Linux. That's one good thing. Is because you, on Linux, what they give you is you can encrypt your data. You can encrypt your main page. It does a lot of encrypting and locking out, so that way you get more security than even Windows. I noticed that. It's not totally 100% safe. It's going to have its quirks. So, depending on the distro you're going to be, installing onto your PC, that's up to you. Find the best distro, put it on your PC. It's always good to test it first to see if you're going to like it or not. So that's why you get a separate M.2 SSD, load Linux onto that, test it with your current PC, see if you like it, and if you do, then you can take your other SSD with Windows on it, stick it into a wrapper, a non-static wrapper, seal it up, put it on your shelf, and mark on it Windows operating system, the last one I used. So make it a collector's piece, because that'll be the last operating system you ever use on Windows. How about that? So, Machine, you're awful quiet, my man.
Listening. I'm not an expert when it comes to this stuff.
Well, if you can pop up that information, I'm sure you're becoming very aware of how it's working right now. So, yeah. No?
I'm not an expert, but that's for certain.
Well, you're learning from it. That's the whole idea, my man. You're learning from it. You know what? Nobody. Well, listen to me. Nobody has to be an expert to know how this stuff works. Nobody has to be an expert. There's nobody perfect in this world that knows the exact, down to the exact equation. Because there is no exact equation. It's infinite. Infinite knowledge. That means you never stop learning. That makes it infinite. From the day you're born to the day you die, it's infinite knowledge. So nobody has the exact equation. It would take a computer that is so super that it would have to go and dictate what the infinite equation is going to be, because it doesn't even, nobody knows the infinite equation. Nobody knows. Like PCs, my friend. There is no right way or no wrong way to do this. It's a learning way. And everybody has to understand that. There is no right way, there's no wrong way. It's a learning way. It's a learning curve for everybody. It's depending on who wants to learn what field you want to learn in. It's your decision, your mind, your decision. You understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it works. It's infinite knowledge and it has many different paths. The path of destiny. No matter which way you want to go, there's infinite paths. So you can choose one path. And it could be the right one. You can choose one path and it'd be the wrong one. You can choose a million different ways or an infinite amount of ways. Is it going to be the right path? No, it's going to be the wrong path. It's going to be the right path. It's going to be the right path. You never know. So, your first choice is always the best choice. I always say. So, you make your choice, you stick on your path, and you keep moving forward. And if people join you along with on your path to moving forward, then they're going to help you in the future to this path. So, learning never stops. You learn each day, every day, something new. You never stop learning. Nobody ever stops learning. Even at 100 years old, they're still learning something new each day. So, keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. So, there's nobody that's smarter than the next person. When it comes to the whole PC world, there's nobody smarter than the next person. We're all on the same clock. We're all in the same boat. We're all following the same path. Because you're here on my channel. That's why. You get the point now? We're all following the same path. Does that make sense to you, Machine? We're all in the same road, the same path. We're all going in the same direction. Even if you watch 500 different reviewers, at the end of the day, y'all are going to come back and follow the same path. Because you know I'm right. That's the whole idea. That's the whole thing. I'm not going to lie to you. I tell you the way it is, and that's the truth. And if you want to listen to somebody else blow smoke up your ying hole, then go right ahead. That's your choice. But I'm not going down that road. Not happening. So. But anyway, guys, we've been rocking for 3 hours and 14 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and call the stream right here for this evening. If you guys want to jump on the voice chat on Discord, I left a link. You can get in there. We're going to finish out our discussion there. So if you want to be a part of that discussion, it's going to be on Discord. We're going to jump off of this. We're going to go on to that. And we're going to be talking about more things. But in the future with the videos, we'll see what happens for Monday, if I have anything going on Monday or not. We'll see if we can pick up another live stream on Monday, if possible. If not, then, you know, I'll let you guys, I'll notify you guys on Discord. If you become a Discord member, it's best to be a Discord member, because I will notify you if there's any changes to my scheduling when it comes to YouTube. So if you want to become a Discord member, I left the link in the chat for the live stream here so you can join our Discord. But anyway, and if you want to become a Discord member anyway, just let me know. You can take and say, hey, Jay, I want to become a Discord member. And, you know, you can leave the message on one of the videos. I'll see the message and I'll say, okay, and I'll send you the link. So, that's how I usually work it. I just don't leave the links out there willy-nilly. Okay, the links that are in this, just in this this video here, it expires in 7 days. So after 7 days, this becomes inactive link. Well, actually, after After I get done, I stop the live stream and it becomes an inactive link. So if you're going to get on it now. You got about 15 seconds before I do my ending for the link ends. So, but anyway, guys, I do appreciate you all being here with us tonight and partying with us as usual. And I hope that a lot of things were cleared up when it comes to the Windows programming. And can't say so much for NVIDIA driver update because it doesn't seem to be a problem right now. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get out of here and call it a day. But if this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Don't forget about... Oh, see, I did it wrong again. Oh, my God. Okay, let's start again. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. Until the next time and the next video. You know what it is, and we'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned. There's always going to be more.